The RM of Rosedale is located to the north and west of Neepawa, stretching west to Franklin and north to Kelwood. The total land area is 865 square kilometers, divided into 6 wards, each with its own member of council.
Call to order. Do I have a mover? Robert Scott.
I'll second that.
Dave Turner. Be resolved the regular meeting of the RM of Rosedale Council of June 12, 2026 is to be called to order. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item minutes. Do you have a mover? Sure. Seconder, Ron Carlson. Be resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting held on May the 8th, 2026 be adopted as presented. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item number 3, adoption of the agenda.
I'd like to add something, if I can.
Okay.
I'd like to add something as well. The Riding Mountain situation with the River welding and the neighbors there, we had a discussion about that. Kind of in the old business, I guess it would be.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I thought there was something.
No, I'll check it again, so no.
Okay.
I'd like that, a discussion about forming committees. Discussion about forming committees?
Oh, okay. Oh, morning, Scott.
Or,
Okay, do I have a mover? Second. Third. Be resolved that the agenda be adopted. The order of the agenda is authorized to be alternate as required with the following added items: 12:19 Ridge Road welding, and then 12:20 bylaw 6-2025 organization bylaw. All in favor? Carried. List of accounts. Do I have a mover? Seconder, are you sure? Be resolved that the council do hereby adopt the totals, payables, and for expenses in the amount of $197,540.32 as check 2694.0 to 27,016 with cancel checks 26942 and 26976. Further be
I had a question.
okay. Further be it resolved that the automatic withdrawal for $108.08 approved. Further be it resolved that online banking payment total $15,531.06 be approved, and therefore be it resolved that the utility check 7203 to 7209 be approved in the amount of $3,936.54 with canceled check 7204. Question?
The 10D4H club for $500.
Yeah.
What was that?
The debris blows out of the Kelwood dump and then fills that whole field. So historically, the RM has reached out to the 4-H club to come out there for a day and clean up that whole field
Okay.
because all the debris just blows over that fence.
And 10D is based in Keller.
No, there's members of that club in Kelvin.
All right. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 4.2. Audited financials, May 31. Do I have a mover? Ron Thompson-Shook. Seconder. Robert Scott. Be resolved that the audited financial as at May 31st, 2026 be accepted as presented.
Okay, so as I indicated last month, because we passed our financial plan, so now there's budget figures within the financial packages. I encourage council, we should change our financial packages, especially getting rid of the bank statements and items like that. So then the item can be presented on the website. It's just not the safest thing to put your full bank statements on the website. So keep that in mind moving forward. If we remove that, it could help too. These documents are always available at the office for anyone to view. Just some key notes. So we have finished some of our major expenses like graveling and dust control, but those items won't be showing until next month. I'm not really seeing too many things jump out right now that are kind of out of the loop or questionable. And then also included in the unaudited financials, I just gave you guys two quick little charts, just showing you the bank account balance comparison and the general ledger account balance comparison. Because it was tough last year, basically starting the year off with a general ledger balance of almost zero, and to get out of that hole. So you'll see the orange lines are 2026 and they're all positive. So we haven't been paying any money in line of credit or interest yet this year compared to last year. So we're trying our best to just kind of cash manage things the best we can, and I think we are off to a much better start for the first 6 months. And then those charts are just to show you guys as visibly like how it looks. Is there any questions about any specific line in the unaudited financials you require clarification on? Seeing none, I think it's ready to call for the vote.
Is there a timeline for an audit?
No, because our auditor left the firm, so now we've basically reset. So the dream is June 30th, but that's probably an unrealistic dream at this time because now that they formed a new firm and there's a new partner handling the audit, it's basically starting at ground zero. The majority of my questions I'm being asked for is information based on items of 2024 to even make sense of how they put together the financials for the 2024 audit to roll into 2025. So I'll let you know when I know, but no, at this time I don't have a date of when you'll get your 2025 audit.
All right, all in favor? Carried.
So we got 5 months for that.
Okay, agenda item 7, communication. Do I have a mover?
Sure.
Or seconder?
Sure.
Be resolved that the communication items be received as presented, the RCMP Spruce Plains Attachment Annual Performance Plan, And May 2026 RCMP Mayor's Report.
Again, Staff Sergeant Cowan says he'll come to any council meeting you guys request him at. I just haven't seen anything jumping out in these mayor's reports that warrant him to come speak to you, but keep that in mind moving forward if you ever do have something you want to talk to him about. He's always available. And then the other one's just their annual performance plan indicating their priorities for this area for the next year.
Other questions? No? All in favor? Agenda item number 9, committee reports. Do I have a mover? Jeff Henderson. Seconder, Ernie Sure. Be resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale accept the community reports as supplied. Any questions on that?
So we were supplied 4 committee reports, the Intermountain Watershed District meeting of March 12th, the Planning District of April 27th, the Turtle River subdivision of April 30th, and the Rossburn Subdivision Trail Association May 4th. For those that attended it, is there anything you want to highlight to council from these committee meetings? When I ran through it, it looked very procedural for most of them.
From the RSTA standpoint, there's talking about taking a more close look at culverts along the entire line. I guess many of the old culverts are plugged. There's quite a few in the RM of Rosedale that are basically, it's a 36-inch culvert with about 2 inches of freeboard left because it's all soil that's washed in. So they're talking about how they're going to clean them, if they can clean them. And the next rain of them will probably wash out a few more of them. And so it's just that's one thing that's on the radar because they have that grant. So they're getting that tractor again this year. And they've got that full-time maintenance person who's going to patrol it. So they're flagging everything and they're doing a fair bit of work. Like it's a pretty good group. Like they're pretty diligent because that's what 300 kilometers. So it's big. So they're spreading a little bit of money a long way. So,
Right.
but in our RM, there's quite a few plugged culverts.
Yeah.
And then I saw in their minutes too, they indicated that they signed off on the maintenance agreement for DFA repair. It's just the landowner who hasn't.
Yeah, and I, because I was causing too much trouble there again, I stepped away. But so Dave is. Did you go to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the site meeting with Mark, yeah, that was back in, that was 10 days ago, something like that. Mark asked for just, since a representative there for the DFA sites, we had a meeting with John on site. So John has put some concerns forward to Mark, Mark's handling, because that's who hired it, who hired to do the job, right?
Right.
So they're addressing it as need be, I guess. And since and also with the trails, because it's the trails land. It's really just, it's located in our Rosedale, but not our property, right? So that's their looking after. So I haven't heard anything from Mark. If they've done anything more for redesigning or anything, I've not heard. I reached out to him yesterday to see if there's a follow-up for today's meeting. No response back from Mark.
Because I think
At this time.
just the point, they wanted to put a little level crossing instead of putting a culvert back, right?
It's, yeah, I guess they want to put the culverts back there, that's the design plan, and that's what the trails is signed off on as well. It's just a matter of getting access to the land. And John has some stipulations about that, so they're trying to appease everybody, work that together, so.
Okay. Anything else? No? All in favor of the reports? Awesome. All right. Agenda 5.1, open public hearing for variance dash 003-2062-R. Do you have a mover? Seconder. Jeff Anderson. Be resolved, the Council of the RM of Rosedale hereby adjourn the regular meeting to council to enter into a public hearing on variation B-003-2026-R at 10:15. All in favor? Carried. Alrighty, Scott.
Morning, gentlemen. So the variation application number for this file is B003-2026R. The current owners is Escarpment Farms Incorporated, and the current applicant is Andrew Somers. The variation request is to reduce the front setback from the municipal road from the required 125 feet to the proposed 50 feet. The current area that is going to be affected is southeast of 211715 West. And the reason we are in support of it is to vary the front yard setback for the location of grain storage bins and grain dryers within the AG Agricultural General Zone. Andrew wanted the grain dryers put onto the application. He has a mobile grain dryer, so it would be going to each individual bin that he would that would need drying. It's not going to be a stationary bin, or sorry, a stationary dryer. Yeah. Notices were circulated in accordance with the Planning Act of 14 days or better, and our office has not received any comments, concerns, or questions from neighboring property owners within the required buffer zone.
And us either.
Nothing?
So it's pretty much just standard.
Yeah. Like there's, I was up in that area a week and a half ago, I guess, and there are other core sections that do have grain bins within 50 feet or closer to property boundaries or even to municipal ditches.
Okay.
Is there any potential like drifting issues or
No.
anything like that?
Look, no, in the area, there's no potential for retention of snow or anything, or impeding traffic flow or anything. It's pretty isolated, that's what part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Does council have any questions for Scott?
Any concerns that you noted?
No. No. If there's any concerns with snow drifting or anything, that I'd like to point out that on the western side of where the grain bins are going to be, there is a very large bush, so there'll be nothing for western drifting, nothing potentially from the north because there's bush as well up there.
Okay.
And then anyone in the gallery here to speak for or opposed to the variance today? Seeing none?
Perfect.
Okay, well, thanks, Scott.
Very welcome.
So, 5.1, close public hearing for variance.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah, you
Take
too.
care.
003-2026-R. Do I have a mover?
Oh, I took it.
Sure. Seconder? Sure.
And yes.
Earl Burton. Be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale hereby adjourn the public hearing at 10:18 a.m. and resume into the regular meeting of council. Do I have all in favor? Council, okay, 1.5 council decision. Do we have a mover? Earl Burton. Seconder? Jeff Henderson. Be resolved that council of the RM of Rosedale approve variance order number B-003-2026-R for the owner Escarpment Farms Inc. on the section 211715 West to reduce the required front setback from the required 125 feet to the proposed 50 feet for the location of the grain bin storage and grain dryer within the agricultural general zone. Any questions? No. All in favor? Carried.
Wait till 10:30 for that one. we're gonna move to agenda item 10, because we need to wait until 10:30 for the tax impact presentation.
Okay, priority road policy. Do I have a mover? Ron Costa, Joe. Seconder. Robert Scott. Be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale approve the revise to the policy TS-002 being the priority road system policy.
So this is just procedurally, we put the graveling map in there last year. So now that there's a new graveling map for 2026, it's just updating the policy with the up-to-date graveling map. Just so everyone can know, aside from coming here and looking at it on the wall, we'll get that updated in our policy.
So then next year, it can be revised yearly, correct?
Yep.
So in the
And
start
then
of
same thing with priority roads, because this covers both graveling and the snow removal. So anytime you guys make any changes to your snow removal map or your graveling maps,
2027.
yeah, or wait to 2026 even for snow removal,
Okay.
yeah.
And I just wanted to clarify, so we're on a ward system now, but like you've got this point in here, council is required by the municipal act to make decisions that are in the best interest of the municipality. So when I go whole hog and try to over gravel my ward,
We take it away.
that line is what you take it away from me, yeah, because I'm supposed to represent the RM.
Correct.
Correct.
Words are for election purposes.
You're learning, Jeff.
Any other questions? All in favor? Carried.
Under unfinished business, we still have our Gerard tile drainage request. I don't believe there's any action required. I supplied you guys with the correspondence of where we're at, just to keep you up to date with it.
I received a phone call from Gerard, he would like a decision. He feels that he's satisfied everything that he needs to now.
But in the correspondence, it indicates he hasn't.
So I'll present information from him on his behalf.
Okay.
So he submitted this tile drainage application last year. He wanted to get it started for last fall. But because of the issues, it just went on to unfinished business. So he called me again. And what he has done is, there's 5 issues. It's the municipal Minto Dam going into Rosedale, cutting a road issue. Then there was crossing underneath, I think it's 466, but it's the Franklin Road. And that little bit of a drain. And then it was Jakubowski receiving the downstream water. And then the other one was crossing the CP rail line. So one of my earlier concerns that I voiced at the original meeting was the fact that in that Wetland Watershed District pamphlet, they say no agricultural drainage on that section. And then for the other one was no excessive agricultural drainage. I went to the last Wetland Watershed District sub-council meeting and I asked more questions about tile drainage. They had brought in a tile drainage expert to give me a bit of a presentation. And they have, based on that presentation, they have no concerns at the white mud side. I'm paraphrasing them. So just, if they say differently, I apologize, but they have no concerns for tile drainage in that area. And I get the understanding based on the expert that they brought in was that the tile drainage isn't even particularly effective in that type of soil. And that basically where you crack open the soil with the rip plow to put the tile in is pretty much the only spot that drains. And it barely, between the tiles, it barely even migrates over. So they said if you want to spend your money, go ahead. But it probably isn't the best strategy. So I took that as one of my main objections was listening to the Wetland Watershed District. So if they're telling me it's not a concern, then I withdraw my objection to that for that aspect of it. And then the other part that came up was Will Gerard was talking to Haley, the person that signs off for the province for the permits.
The water resource officer.
Is that the title? Thank you. And she's told him that there was no requirement to involve CP because they weren't establishing a new culvert or a new drain underneath. They were just simply dumping into a wetland, and that wetland be draining to the other side of the wetland. I don't agree with that, but if he wants to proceed with the variance, there'll have to be a meeting, and CP will be involved or be informed, so they could, if they don't object, then again, I wouldn't object.
But you guys put a policy, or you put it in a bylaw in place.
Yep.
This council did.
Except right now what I'm doing is I'm presenting everything from that conversation.
Understood.
So,
But I'm just telling you, there's a bylaw in place that says landowner sign off is required.
yeah.
And he won't go and get the landowner sign off.
So the only thing I'll say to that is the definition of what is downstream, because I brought that up to Whitemud, because I had someone way downstream on the Whitemud mad at tile drainage on the west edge of the RM of Rosedale, because they are the downstream recipient of all of the various salts and nitrates, and so they had serious things to say. And they were talking about death by 1,000 cuts. Every tiny little thing you do on your land multiplies by hundreds of landowners. So that was their presentation to me. But where does our policy, our bylaw says downstream recipients? So the downstream recipients of Little Gerard's tile drainage project are many. And it gets into Whitemud, and then it gets into the lakes, and then it goes to Hudson Bay. So at some point you have to draw a line. When I presented that at Whitemud, they just kind of looked at me like I was daft. And they said, like, come on, be reasonable. And it's like the next person down is the recipient. So for example, and again, I'm presenting this, so Will's contention was, we are not treating things consistently. So there was one variance that came, a tile drainage variance application that came in, where the downstream recipient in this case was a drain by the Whitemud Watershed District. And that was, I can't remember the name, but you were familiar with it. You said it wants to go into that drain anyway. And Whitemud Watershed District had said verbally that they didn't oppose it, but they hadn't provided the letter yet. So, and I believe they did. So we proceeded on that one without the letter. But there was only one downstream recipient. But technically, it went through their system and into other people. But we allowed it for that one, so he's asking for consistency on that. He's asking for the next person down. And in his mind, because he's done a good job of reshaping the drain that goes through Franklin and onto Jakubowski's land, and because Jakubowski hasn't had any objections and provided the letter, that should suffice. So that's the end of my conversation. I think I did it fairly. And the summary that I took was, it does look like we're treating two different tile applications differently. And we're not applying the bylaw consistently. And there was reasons for that one, just for administrative smoothness, basically, because it's going to happen, the letter is coming. But if there's only one downstream recipient, in this case it would be, in that one it's going by the Watershed District, in this one, you can make a very good case that it's Neil Jakubowski, not CP Rail. But then he'll get hung up on the hearing, because CP Rail, I'm sure, will object and say, no, you have to have, because if you go to the CP Rail website, there is an application that you have to fill out. It's publicly available, and you have to fill that out and say, I want to dump some agricultural drainage underneath your rail bed. I believe at that point, now I'm talking for myself, I think it's semantics. And I think that CP Rail will have something to say about it. But perhaps the venue is at that hearing. Or we have to revamp the bylaw. Or he has to withdraw his variance and streak it from, right now it's exceeding 125 feet. Which means everybody in Franklin will be notified of the hearing. The Department of Highways will be notified of it. CP Rail will be notified. But if he withdraws it and it stays in that 125 feet, my understanding is he doesn't have to do a variance. And then we're only held by our bylaw, not the public hearing. But I'm asking you that question. Is that true? Is my understanding true?
Well, the variance and stuff is controlled by Neepawa Planning District.
But if he doesn't exceed the 125 feet or encroach on the 125 feet, he doesn't have to get a variance.
I don't know, I need to see the new application. And he would have to put a new application into NAPD, and then NAPD would make their recommendation from there.
Right. And he doesn't want to.
You don't want
He
to.
doesn't want to do a new application.
But he's still planning on cutting underneath the railroad track.
He's planning on using the culvert underneath the railroad track, but not adding to it.
He's going to put more water through the culvert underneath the railroad bed.
The engineering report that we got says he's not putting more, it's putting, it'll be more regular and consistent. And the White Mud Watershed District says it probably won't impact it, it probably won't be as effective as he wants it to be.
Using a 1986 illustration runoff model.
Yeah, and I don't know what he's saying about that part of it.
Because that's what I was finding too, was it was very picking and choosing of data by this engineering firm that later says they're not responsible for anything contained within this report. But it's your guys' choice. Council passed the bylaw that put it in place that put these restrictions on. If you don't like those things, then you amend your bylaw accordingly.
So the question,
So if we allow this, we're actually going against the bylaw. Is that correct?
Yeah,
where you're arguing the definition of downstream recipient and deciding what that actually means, because it's a loosely defined term. Is CP rail a downstream recipient? Feel free to say it.
I mean, it's going through their culvert.
Yeah. Without their permission, it can't happen, in my mind.
which has been my line to the applicant the whole time. I even offered to supply assistance, you'll see in the correspondence
Yeah.
with that, but they don't want,
He doesn't want to go that route. So,
and that's why it just sits as unfinished business every month.
So if they're not willing to get the applicant or the letter from the downstream applicant, which is CPRL, then we're stalled again.
And now I'll present one part that I forgot in this conversation, so I'm presenting Will Gerard's statement to you now, is that why are you trying to protect CP Rail? They can stand up for themselves. Just let them do their own thing. Why are you?
so the train derails, and then all of a sudden we've said, yeah, go ahead, tell the water underneath their CP rail train. Yeah, no, I'm not taking that liability. I'm sorry.
Because it says right in the report, any third party use of this report are the responsibilities of the third parties. So if we use this report as our justification, we're accepting the responsibility of using this report and the consequences of it.
So this becomes like a John Smith assuming responsibility for the transcontinental governments. Same idea. But guess that would be an awful lot of liability. I think if one train derailed in Franklin, carrying
The assessment
100
confers
tankers
no
of water.
liability on PBS water engineering and just used for the purpose to identify the project's risk, impacts, and returns based on. So again, yeah, they're not taking responsibility if there's rail damage or anything based on the data within this 50-page report.
I think CP rail needs to make that call first. That's not that derail train in Franklin.
And I have not called CP Rail because I didn't want to take that step.
That's his responsibility.
That's, yeah.
That's on his. So why are we stepping in until he has that sign off from CPRL? And say, we're stepping it again, in my opinion.
Well,
Fair safety work.
Well, and I think we said that right from the start.
Yeah.
If we got that permission from CP Rails or letter or whatever, we have not an issue with it. Though even though that one road by Kitson's there, it's pretty bad. I got a picture yesterday. Did you see that? Yeah.
It's a mess. It is terrible.
Doesn't need any more moisture there.
No, and if you look at on the north, just south of the tracks, where that Jacobowski drain goes, if you look at how much topsoil is in that, filling that culvert right now, it's at half capacity, the ditch is washed full of soil.
Okay. I say we stay firm until we CP Rail get it
well.
See if you're there,
So-
what they say.
I promised them I'd call them back, so I'll tell them that they'll stay as unfinished business and that the
Until
CP
you
rail
get
is
the
the
CP rail is
our
the letter.
okay.
Okay, we'll flip back to item 5.2 then. That's our tax impact presentation for Manitoba assessment.
Okay.
Oh, ready for me?
Come on in.
Sure. I didn't know everybody was this excited about assessment. So
I
happy.
hate the first count.
Yeah, I know. Just the way it goes. Alright. I'll get the information to you and then we'll talk about it. So if you want to take one of those and pass it around. How are you, Robert? Test my brain today. I know that's yours, Ernie. Henderson.
Thank you.
Down the list. George.
Right here. Process of elimination, eh?
Yep, getting better. Bergen. Sick.
Thank you.
And RM of Rosedale. So we'll talk about those in just a second.
He says it's good quality.
So,
Do that.
my name is Lisa Pottinger. I'm the district supervisor for the property assessment office in Minnedosa. I've been there for about 6.5 years. Some of you know me from sitting across the table during my time on council for the town of Newport. So sometimes people ask me why I'm familiar, and that'll be why. As you know, assessment is the basis for property taxation, and when values are updated as a result of reassessment, taxes shift amongst properties relative to their assessment increase. Tax impact modeling determines how taxes shift as a result of reassessment. Preliminary assessment notices are being mailed to owners today. So an assessment notice looks like this. Often they come and people don't really understand why they've come. This time, what we're doing is we're updating from a 2025 value to a 2027 value. And I'll explain further where that comes in. But this is what's going out to people today. You're probably the first phone call and then I'm the second phone call. So I come today to tell you why. So I'm going to touch on the highlights of the report, but leave it with you to read as well. So this report provides to council an overview of the impact of reassessment 2027 in your municipality. For 2027, the assessed values of all property will be updated to April 1st, 2025 reference date from April 1st, 2023 reference date. Property assessments were last updated in 2025. So what that means is we're currently working with a reference date of April 1st, 2023. Sales up to and including April 1st of 2023. Now we're updating that to a reference date of sales up to and including April 1st of 2025 for your 2027 reassessment. So we're not predicting, we're not forecasting, we're simply reporting what has happened up to April 1st of 2025. And these updated assessments will be used for the 2027 property taxes. So it gets a little bit convoluted in that we are always working 2 years in advance. You guys have just set your 2026 budget, but when these reports are made, the most recent accurate information we have is your 2025 budget. So that's sometimes gets confusing. So the objective of the province-wide reassessment is equity, fairness, and greater ratepayer understanding. Reassessments reflect how property values have changed since the last reassessment, and they are attributed to a combination of changes of supply and demand, what's for sale, what's selling, what's not, new construction, and improvements of existing properties. That's where permits come in. The province's taxable assessment has increased by 11%, or 12.1 billion, and your municipality's taxable assessment has increased by 22%, or 33 million. So you see on the chart on page 2, single family residential has seen an increase in assessment of 9.7%, and farmland has seen an increase of 32%, for an overall increase of 22.1%. So assessment increases resulting from reassessment don't necessarily mean tax increases. Property assessments simply provide the basis for distributing tax amounts among property owners. So in very broad strokes, if you take your overall assessment and you take your overall budget and you divide one by the other, you get your mill rate. So in theory, if your assessment goes up, your mill rate should be able to go down if your budget stays the same. And that's what the modeling in this report talks about. So you know that tax rates or mill rates are set by yourselves as council, school division, and the province. The impact of reassessment 2027 on property taxes in your municipality is shown on the following pages. Now the impacts don't take into account other taxes levied, special service fees, local improvements, anything like that. These are just based on your municipal tax. So you would see that the chart at the top of page 4, single family residential could see a decrease of 8.2%, and farm could see an increase of 10.6%. So the graph on the bottom of that page shows you, based on that information, 27% of ratepayers would see a tax increase greater than 10% on $100. 30% would see tax increases of less than 10% or $100. And 43% would see decreases. Broadly speaking, properties with an assessment increase less than 22.1% should see a municipal tax decrease, and properties with an assessment increase greater than 22.1% should see a municipal tax increase. Page 6 gives you some of council's options to moderate the impacts. You've been to at least one other tax impact meeting, so you've heard these. Things that you can do, that's through your MSO and the tax office, that's strictly up to you. Page 7 talks about the province's property tax reduction. So the homeowner's affordability tax credit, or the HATC, will be increased for 2027 to provide homeowners up to $1,700 toward their school taxes on their principal residence. The principal residence part has been a little bit contentious. We've been having some phone calls. If you have a secondary residence, a cottage, something like that, you're not getting that reduction on that secondary property. And beginning for 2027, the HATC maximum benefit will be reduced on properties with an assessed value greater than $1 million. So that's a change as well. So page 8 brings us to informing the public about reassessment 2027. We come to you to tell you about it so you can spread the word when people call you or talk to you. And the tools we provide to you, the provincial website is a good resource right now because property tax is on everybody's mind, or assessment, especially on our mind. There's lots of boxes to click on. It'll take you to the right information. My Property MD. So I see there are a lot of these out in your hallway here. I think all of you should go on here and take a look, and not because this is what I do, but that report that I handed you about your property, that's what's on here. So not only would you just get your reassessment notice that says residential $100,000, you can look on and see, oh, did they take off that shed that I took down that I didn't get a permit for, or that deck that I added, maybe I didn't need a permit for something. Is it on there? Is it that sort of thing? Sheds come down often. Bins get moved onto a different quarter. This will help you to see what's on your roll, what's being assessed. So that's something else. And it's fairly simple. I've had to learn this recently. If you point your camera at this QR code, there pops up a little yellow box on your screen. You touch that screen, it takes you to the login page. We can't make it much easier. If I can do it, you can do it. We're holding open houses throughout our district and throughout the whole province. You don't have to attend an open house in your district. If somebody wants to meet with an assessor face-to-face to discuss their property, you can go to, we're holding one in Neepawa on July the 10th, Onno on July the 3rd. We're also offering virtual appointments this year. By appointment only, we're open from 8:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. If people want to call in, Skype in, FaceTime in, whatever they would like. And we are one of the remaining public-facing open-door government agencies. You can come to our office and the door is open. We will meet with you at your farm, we will meet with you at our office, whatever works if you have a concern. But we're certainly available to you. And the other big part to be played in disseminating this information is the municipal administrators. They are the, kind of your front line. They're a big help with that. To note, this year we are not mass producing these brochures that we have in the past. We're just finding it's not efficient. All of this information also is on the website. So I'm going to leave these. My office, like this brochure is available on the website. We print some to have. When people walk in and they want, some information, they want what the website is, the open house schedule and that sort of thing. So I'm gonna leave these with you to hand out if you care to, and if you want more, you can print them as well. And that brings me to the end of my presentation, if you have any questions.
Just one note is that it can seem overwhelming to council, but it's important to remember the differences of portioned assessment on the different classifications of property, because they see these big numbers.
Right.
But when it comes to portioned assessment, the largest increase is happening to agricultural land, which is also one of the lowest portioned assessment numbers.
Yeah.
So that's where she tied back to 47% weren't going to see an increase or anything. Because across the board, when I run the portioned assessment numbers on this, the total of your taxable amount that we put against our mill rate is only about 4%, which probably is one of the lowest in all the municipalities you're doing presentations on.
Because we only talk assessment. We don't translate it other than this information
Yeah.
to what the taxes should do, and that's what that chart on, was it 4 or 7?
Yeah, total tax changed by property class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which
you're-
again, they're making it look heavy on the agricultural side, but the agricultural side is the lowest portion assessment. That's where it's always important to try to grow more commercial, industrial, institutional areas where we get the tax increase, because you're seeing that decline in your single family residentials, which means your urbans are not seeing that assessment growth, which is critical that we need to see these values of these communities of Kelwood, Riding Mountain, Eden. We want to see those assessments grow and the demand grow. Regularly. My apologies. So I just wanted to add that layer of clarification to council too, is that it's not just that straight number, it's always portioned assessment. You can see it right on your tax bills, it shows it's that number times that percentage.
that percentage doesn't change last assessment to this assessment though. What this is showing is the increase farm to farm, like it's comparing apples to apples, so that's right. The other thing that I would offer is that you're facing an election this fall and probably straight into boards of revision and then off to AMM. Once you catch your breath from that, if you would like a half-hour presentation from assessment, just basics. People have a lot of questions about permitting and how do we, if we see something going up and there's no permit, what do we do? And to make the connection between the permit and assessment and taxes. Sometimes it's good just to have a broad strokes meeting, and I'm certainly willing to come out or have someone come out and do a presentation just so we all kind of start with the same basic knowledge, because there are a lot of misconceptions. The deck isn't attached to my house, why are you assessing it? The shed is on skids, why are you assessing it? Those sorts of things, and that's not the case, right? So it's good to just a basic 101 is nice. So, but I assume you'll all be here come November, so.
Can I ask you a forward-looking question?
I will try and answer.
Okay, so there's potentially a wind turbine or a wind farm proposal that's working its way through the system. I believe the application's in Manitoba Hydro now. So we don't know if it's been approved or selected. We don't know if what they're actually doing yet. But let me play, let's pretend for a second. Let's pretend that it gets approved. Let's pretend it gets licensed. I'm looking at the chart on page 4. Would a wind farm go under commercial industrial? Or how would you tax a wind turbine?
I can't speak directly to wind turbine, but I can speak directly to any income producing property. So any business. anything that produces income. Things that can't be sold readily, like a community hall or a hospital or churches are a little bit different. Businesses, High Life, for example. What would it cost to rebuild High Life? We can't really go with that. What would it cost to buy High Life? Well, we can't really go with that. We look at income. So income producing properties are considered class 60, which is commercial, or other. Other and commercial kind of go together. And they are a much higher tax proportion, which we were saying earlier about farm being 26%. Class 60 is 65% of their value is taxable. And they are assessed based on income. So any business that operates within a jurisdiction is a benefit assessment-wise.
So that would be similar to like the railway where it's based on their tonnage and their
I don't want to speak specifically because I don't speak wind turbine, but I do. Commercial entities are looked at differently. I wouldn't look at institutional or railway. I would look at the commercial industrial line. That's where you would see a business
So
operate.
what you're saying, so this structure's put up there, and it's worth $2 million, say, figure, but it produces next to nothing for revenue. How are you gonna tax that?
Then we look at there's 3 ways to come to a value, and if in like businesses that lose money, because some of those exist, they still get taxed, right? So then we would look at cost, we would look at other businesses similar to that. It wouldn't be based solely on their income.
Yeah, because you don't get that data from when a building permit is pulled at NAPD as well, because you have to always state your proposed construction value.
And that doesn't we don't use that information. It would be, and there is a whole ICI department within property assessment that deals with that. And I would certainly, you can have a Skype meeting with, or a Teams meeting. His name is Mike Boyle, and he knows this stuff inside and out. But generally speaking, it would be a commercial or industrial application. So tax rate would be at 65%. When I sat on the council of the town of Neepawa, any business that we could attract was better for everybody because they're paying a larger portion of the pie.
So one of the numbers that got an estimate was based on other wind farms. That would be $750,000 in municipal taxes at the high end, and $750,000 for school taxes, based on the number of turbines that they're talking about here. But who would bear that bill? Would it be because it's in this proposed project, which hasn't been selected, approved, permitted, and built? So I'm talking almost fiction at this point, right?
Yeah.
But if it's a company that's leasing private land, private agricultural land, who would get that bill because it's on my quarter section? Who gets the tax bill?
Again, I won't speak specifically, but the owner of the property gets the tax notice. So whoever's name appears here, if it's a numbered company, if it's the RM, whoever's name is on the title of that property would get the assessment notice and the tax bill.
So if they had a second agreement, like their contract saying that any supplementary taxes would be borne by the overarching company, but if they don't, then the landowner is responsible in this case.
I know that in some areas where telecommunication towers go up, the owner of the land has either a separate agreement, landowner and lessee directly. I know places where they've subdivided the land off and made that land the
Company,
the company the owner of that land. Generally speaking, the more of what I've seen is where the lessee and the farmer have an agreement, and then anything supplemental, because if you have agricultural land and one of these, and then you have something income producing on it, you've got a welding shop on the corner. On your notice, it's going to show up as farm property and other property. So it would be simple to take the amount of the assessment that is the income producing. I didn't give you one of these, but.
No, yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I'm not part of the council from the land assessment.
It's a delegation, it's your delegation?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to know if I can ask. a
Right,
question.
and that's what I'm,
No, I don't think so. I think you'll have to
Okay.
talk to her. I know.
No,
I'm sorry, but this is our chamber and
Yeah.
our meeting. So.
That's all I need to know.
Okay, any more questions on this? All right. Well, thank you so much. for
you're
coming
very
in.
welcome, thanks for having me. And any questions or anything like that, certainly reach out.
Yeah.
Like I say, our office is open and
Perfect.
you're welcome to call. Jordan has our numbers. Excellent, thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, agenda item 5.2, tax presentation, property assessment services. Do I have a mover? Jeff Henderson, seconder, Earl Burton. Be it resolved that the representative of the delegation be by the Manitoba assessment for the tax impact presentation be accepted as presented. All in favor? Carried.
So might as well just wait for 3 minutes. Council Scott use the bathroom before going for our 11 o'clock reception.
Okay.
Actually, that's probably gonna use it.
Okay. Hi. Oh, no, that's fine.
There's coffee here if anybody wants some. I'm not sure if you guys know.
My teeth are getting close to floating myself.
So, what's this the?
Yeah.
Decision, like, so public delegation comes in, so you're not being here for it, or you are? Oh. Okay, so even delegations here.
The question was, all about private land, I believe, to that crowd land. I don't think they can use it. So I don't know. I need to be the power meeting, so it's not.
You took us all, I think you had it. Let's go.
You should have walked the back.
You were fast.
My vote was 26%, it was incredible. I'm just saying what you know, it's anything else.
Yeah.
Next meeting.
You're more relaxing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's Council Scott's.
I know.
They drive.
Just get it.
All right. Mr. Koscheck and myself will remove ourselves and leave this up to Mr. Scott to handle.
So we're on agenda 5.3.
You're the.
But we do Trevor up to the. Morning, Trevor.
Good morning. You ready for me?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll stand up here. So I can see my knee shaking behind the counter.
You have a second, right?
What's
You have
that?
a second on there, right?
Yeah, so Brock Rossnadel's joining me here. I did have a second on there. I didn't really know who was gonna be leading into this, and Brock volunteered to come and give me a hand, so. Good morning, Reeve and members of council. Obviously, Reeve's not here, that's which.
So Robert, you are second in command to Carl if he leaves the room now? Okay, so you're deputy Reeve. Okay.
He's the chair of the meeting right now, yeah.
All right. What happens to Ronnie's position?
There isn't one.
There isn't one to represent that ward.
We all represent Rosedale.
Okay, is that the way it works?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys very much again for the opportunity to stand up here and speak. I want to begin by being clear, this is not opposition to renewable energy in principle. This is about responsible decision-making, grounded in evidence, fairness, and long-term municipal risk. The turbines proposed for this project are significantly larger than those historically approved in Manitoba, up to 65 to 80% taller. Yet setback distances have not been updated to reflect this increase in scale. Larger turbines bring greater visual presence, extended noise reach, increased shadow flicker, and broader lighting impact. Applying outdated setbacks to modern turbines creates land use compatibility concerns. Other jurisdictions have already adopted scale responsive setbacks, demonstrating that adjusting setbacks to turbine size is a reasonable and recognized planning approach. We have also heard claims that a majority of landowners have already agreed to this project. However, those agreements were signed before key project details were available. They do not reflect fully informed consent at the time they were signed. More importantly, private land agreements are not a planning standard. Council's responsibility is to all residents, including those who bear impacts without compensation. As more information has become available, community concern has increased. There have also been claims that wind turbines do not impact the environment. That is not supported by the scientific record. Impacts vary and include migration changes, habitat displacement, and cumulative effects. Some of the most permanent impacts are below ground, including soil compaction, groundwater disruption, drainage interference, and long-term subsurface structures. These impacts extend beyond lease boundaries and are often overlooked. This project concentrates financial benefit among a small number of participants, while disrupting impacts across the wider community. Non-participating residents cannot negotiate protections and absorb noise and visual property impacts. Consultation has relied heavily on individual lease signups, not inclusive, transparent engagement. Informational meetings do not, on their own, constitute meaningful participation in siting decisions. This project also introduces industrial scale risk into a rural setting. These include ice throw, tower fires, electrical hazards, winter emergency conditions. Critical questions still remain. Where are the ice throw risk zones? Do they overlap roads, farms, or homes? What enforceable safeguards are in place? There is no clear, publicly demonstrated evidence that municipal emergency services are equipped, trained, or resourced to manage these risks. Without binding agreements, cost and liability shift to the municipality. Human health considerations must also be taken seriously as part of responsible land use planning. There is a growing body of evidence, including findings referenced by Health Canada, indicating that proximity to wind turbines can contribute to sleep disturbance, elevated annoyance, and chronic stress in some individuals, particularly in rural settings where baseline noise levels are low. These are well-documented concerns in jurisdictions where turbines are sited near residences. They affect daily quality of life, well-being, and the ability of residents to remain in their homes comfortably. Importantly, these effects are not distributed evenly. They are experienced most directly by nearby non-participating residents who have no control over siting decisions and no ability to mitigate exposure. From a municipal perspective, these impacts do not remain abstract. They translate into ongoing complaints, administrative burden, enforcement challenges, and long-term community tension. In the absence of clear siting standards that reflect turbine scale, and without proactive safeguards, these risks are not eliminated. They are shifted on to residents and future councils to manage after the fact. Once approved and constructed, this project becomes effectively irreversible. That means today's decisions bind future councils. Council must consider whether conditions are not only proposed, but actually enforceable in practice. Who monitors? Who pays? What happens when disputes arise? Conditions that cannot be enforced are not real protections. At the end of the project life, the risks continue. There is uncertainty around whether full removal will be achieved, partial foundation removal with subsurface concrete remaining in place. Ownership changes. This means that even after decommissioning, subsurface impacts will still remain in the ground. Without strong safeguards, municipalities can be left with abandoned infrastructure, damaged land, and long-term liability. This municipality lies within the Riding Mountain UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. This carries expectations of stewardship, precaution, and long-term thinking. Approval would set precedent that future councils may be expected to follow, shaping land use beyond this single project. Finally, we must consider timing. A municipal election is approaching. This is a long-term, irreversible decision, being considered without a renewed public mandate. Deferring the decision does not stop the project, it strengthens the decision. Across all of these submissions, one pattern is clear. Risks have been identified, but safeguards are not yet in place. Before I conclude, we are submitting over 1,000 signed letters from residents within the RM of Rosedale. We are submitting, from the residents within the RM of Rosedale. This represents a substantial and clearly demonstrated level of concern within the community, and directly challenges the suggestion that this project reflects broad public support. Each addressing its different aspects of the project. The volume and consistency of these submissions show that concern is not isolated. It is widespread, informed, and sustained across the municipality. In addition, multiple detailed submissions were provided to council by email in May and June. We respectfully ask that those submissions, along with the materials presented here today, be fully considered as part of decision-making record. Given the scale of this decision, we also emphasize the importance of transparent and impartial decision-making, including appropriate consideration of any potential conflicts, so that the public confidence in the outcome can be maintained. In light of both the evidence presented and the level of documented resident concern here, we respectfully ask Council to decline the approval of this project in its current form, or at a minimum, defer any decision until independent review is completed, enforceable safeguards are clearly defined, and a current public mandate is in place. And finally, ensure that all submissions and signatures are formally entered into the municipal record and reflected in Council's deliberations. This approach does not prevent development, but it ensures that any decision made is informed, defensible, and aligned with the long-term interests of the community. I would like to thank you guys very much for your time and listening.
Thank you, Trevor. Has council got any questions for Trevor or?
I have a lot of questions, but they're not appropriate right now.
That's fine. If you'd like to meet, Jordan has my number there. You can gladly reach out.
The only comment that I wanted to make is like, just if you looked at the timeline, I just want to make sure that you guys were aware. Like, if you watched that presentation that's on the Manitoba Hydro website when they were proposing the wind power projects, they're just getting started. So you're asking us to politely say no to this project. The project hasn't been selected,
What
approved.
stage is that?
It has to go through provincial licensing.
Yeah.
We're at step -1 of 10.
Oh, 100%.
So-
We know that.
Yeah, it's just that what I think you're doing is the way the conversation is being framed as is you have to say no now in advance of something to say no to. And I also think, because I happen to be like, I've done a lot of reading and whatnot on the subject before this ever came up. Some of the stuff that I would love to sit down with you and have a real conversation.
Yeah.
Because I know that there is some tension there, but it's a lot of this stuff that you're saying now, like it has to get refined and put into the licensing. If the project gets selected, if the project gets approved, if they move forward, if there's an economic case, if, right?
Yeah, and if it does, well, we've got a voice of the community here stating concerns, right? And bringing that forward to you guys, because if we're not doing our part as community members,
Awareness
and bringing our awareness to
starts
you guys as our council, are we going to be heard in this? Because we've already been not heard, right, in the acceptance of some of the land sign up and stuff like that, which that was 100% the decision of the landowner. We have no control over that, but it's something that potentially could be pushed through, that, as I've heard previous, is that it's going through no matter what. Now, I've heard that from other people. As you just stated, it isn't yet, but I have heard that being said. So this is why we are bringing this forward to you guys, because there are concerns of the community, of your taxpayers, the people that voted you guys in. I wasn't a community member at the time of the last election. I didn't have the opportunity to vote, but I trust that you guys are doing everything in your power to do the best for your ratepayers. Because you guys were the ones elected, right? And that is what we ask of you. So we just are asking that this information be noted as from all of your ratepayers in the RM of Rosedale.
Anybody else got any questions, concerns?
Thanks for showing up, folks, and
Thank you guys very, very much.
delivering this.
You know, these just left here or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Good luck, people.
Thank you.
We'll see you in October.
Would you like to introduce that resolution?
Be it resolved that the reception and delegation made by Trevor Bennett be accepted as presented. Yes. Am I gonna move it? Yeah. All those in favor? Carried.
All right, I'll go let Councilor Kostenchuk read no.
Okay, let's move to 12.1. Golf tournament.
You left talking about golf later back.
Yeah. Do I have a mover?
Sure.
Sure.
Have we lost one?
I brought him in, but he must be.
He's talking. Robert Scott. Ryan will go. Be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale approve the scholarship level of whatever to Touchwood Park 30th Annual Golf Tournament. And further be it resolved that the team be registered at an amount of $400. Now,
Included in your package is your past participation.
Oh, that's that.
Yeah. So it appears this is something you guys do every year. Sometimes it looks like you might have even submitted a team as well. So,
I submit a team every year.
oh, okay.
Robert, you got your club shined
But
up?
I just do that on my own. That's my own donation to Touchwood. So
Your club's all shined up, ready to go?
if you guys want to take this, go ahead and do it. Because I'll be putting my own team
To
in.
that one and the foundation.
I know, the foundation, that's the one.
Hey.
Robert, right?
We did the foundation one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I don't mind donating to them, but I don't golf, so I ain't on the team. I'll do the rah-rah part.
Yeah.
That's what I said, I club, but I guarantee you, you're not winning. You're there for the fun.
Excellent.
Oh boy, there goes that ball. Don't get me another dozen.
They make them every day or.
I know. Give me another dozen.
You got a mount here of $400. That's fair. Fair statement. I'm good for that.
So
So it looks like previously you guys were always kind of like an Eagle sponsor, even above the 500, you'd go up to 1,000. And then last year you were a Birdie sponsor.
300, yeah.
There's money in the budget for each and any way you want to go with this.
Well, I think it's a good thing to donate excellent service.
So we're going back to our past precedents of giving them 1,000 then?
I didn't say
You thinking 400, 500, or what do you think?
yeah, if we get went to 500 would be Eagle sponsored.
I think I'd at least do that. At least
You
that.
guys
Use
agree?
500?
Okay.
Sure.
And then are you submitting an RM of Rosedale team?
Charlie, you going golfing?
I do on my own. I enter a team, I put $400 of my own money down to, that's my charitable donation to the Touchwood crew, so it's up to you. I've already put my team in.
You're already entered?
Yeah.
Okay,
Robert, you got a team?
well, right now I haven't, but I can find one.
Well, If you want to submit one, you go ahead.
When is this taking place?
Saturday or Monday?
17th of July.
27.
27.
So that's Monday.
Yeah.
The last Monday of July.
So if I can find 3
Gives
of the
you a
guys.
month.
Gives you a month, but yeah.
Surely you got 3 friends, Robert.
I'm,
That
it's hard to find them. Get them all in one place.
Yeah, that's it.
He's got two, but he's gotta find that third. Might get that negotiable one.
Yeah.
So we've updated the resolution to indicate that we'll be an Eagle sponsor at $500, and we're going to approve a team that gets registered in the amount of $400.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So all in favor then? Carried. Thank you.
And we're not covered the sponsorship, but Robert doesn't win the title.
He has to pay back.
Yes.
Yeah.
No pressure, Robert.
Okay, item 12.2, AMM June District. Do I have a mover?
Sure.
Carl Scott. Carl Britt. Or Ernie Sherman.
Yeah, put it down.
Whereas Midwest District meeting of the AMM will be held on June the 17th, 2026 in Minnedosa, therefore be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale approve the following attendance. CAO Wilner and Councillor Tedrick. Anybody else want to go to this?
I sent you guys 3 email requests, and I didn't get anybody else's interest. So
I can't make it, so.
That day's wrong for me. I can't do it. I would, but I can't.
Okay, so all in favor of the CEO and Mr. Tedrick going? Carried.
they've been actually, I was talking to the AMM, and they said that so far all their planned visits in the June district, they've gone to disaster-ridden places. So let's not have it go this way, because I believe they were doing the Interlake one in Stonewall right after Stonewall got hit with their severe event. So participation was very low. So let's hold out hope that this isn't a consistent
Event?
Yeah.
Okay, agenda item 12.3, approach
Request.
request. Sorry, I can read that. Do I have a mover?
Sure.
Dave Tedder. Seconder. Ron Crossage. Be it resolved, the Council of the RM of Rosedale approve the approach request for roll number 93000 with the condition that the Part 2 and Part 3 bylaw of the bylaw 2-2025 Schedule A are completed by the Public Works foreman and approved in grant from the Provincial Water Resource Officer if required.
So again, this is another one where you guys have a bylaw in place when somebody requests an application for an approach or installing a culvert on a private property. The current field access has a culvert, but he's saying it's too high above ground, which washes out the field. Approach should be longer too. So I haven't received the paperwork back from the foreman, but he did shoot me a text this morning, and he said, I have an extension that I can put on the existing pipe, and I'll just dig out the ditch to proper depth and might need a couple loads of pit run to finish it, but I can make it work without a new pipe or changing the elevation.
That's on the landowner to pay for that, it's not correct,
Should be.
according to our
Yes.
policy and bylaw.
We just give permission basically.
Yeah, 'cause part 2 and 3 was just to meet with the applicant and do before and after
Right.
views. So I guess Matt would be buying the culvert extension from us. So that's why this resolution is more written up as conditional. If council doesn't have any opposition to it, I brought it to the ward councilor's attention when we received the application. And so the resolution is approving the request, provided the foreman completes your part 2 and 3 of the application, and the water resource officer is notified and grants approval.
Any more questions? No? All in favor? Carried. Item agenda 12.4, contract mowing. Do I have a mover? Sure. Seconder.
Sure.
Earl Burke. Be it resolved that Council of the RM of Rosedale approve the following Merv and Wogelmoff to mow the Riding Mountain Community Center playground and curling at the rate of $150. Joe Moore,
yeah.
to mow the Bernie Memorial Park at the rate of $125.
What's the cut?
Per cut.
So,
And monitoring the cuts so they don't overcut.
monitor.
Well, that would be it. That's the question now. So how do we want to monitor it? I know previous Moore was overcutting it, you want to call it. So I think Melissa had a chat with him last year, so now it's got to push back down. Like probably once every 2 weeks would probably be fair, depending on grass height and everything.
Yeah.
But that's more than enough, I would think. In my opinion. Yeah. But if you don't cut it soon enough, then you got mess too. So it's kind of discretionary, I guess.
Who cuts Eden schoolyard, you know?
No idea. That'd be through the
School division compliance.
Yeah, we contract the school division.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But I don't know who the guy is that,
If it's Mr. Walker that does it or not, I have no idea. 'Cause he-
It could be.
Because they tend that every year, like those school and stuff.
Yeah, they'll tender those, so it could be something from Eco too, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen a truck there, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I have no idea.
well, I thought I talked to her.
Yeah, it's, for the, around the Bury Memorial Park, I can speak for that. They do a great job there. He's done a great job of that area. And I think you'll find that probably in years to come, that probably won't happen. We'll have to have our green team do it. So,
Yeah, I think and Merv and Angela are just trying to let them know for our green team because last year wasn't them as nice as they'd like to see it, and they're looking to do a new venture. They're semi-retired folks and they're wanting to live in the community right now, so what's up for them? And it'll be better for us.
Okay. All in favor? Carried.
I guess who's going to
yeah. I can look, that's not a problem.
Or me as well, right now.
Yeah, keep the eyes on it. Just find it. It's getting this high, we're cutting again.
Yeah.
Time to say.
Okay, item agenda 12.5, Manitoba Water Services Board, Kelvin Utility. Do I have a mover?
Can't be very quick. Yeah.
Jeff Henderson. Seconder. Robert Scott. Whereas the RM of Rosedale in
Collaboration.
collaboration with the Manitoba Water Service Board are completing the water system study, and whereas it has been determined by the Manitoba Water Service Board and contractor MPE that the current well reports are required. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale approve the change order for the raw water well assessment to be completed at the estimate cost of $18,000 for the Kelwood Water Utility at a 50-50% or 50-50 cost share with the Manitoba Water Service Board, and therefore be it resolved that the REIT and the CAO are authorized to sign the admin Schedule B for the water system assessment agreement with the Manitoba Water Service Board.
I have a question.
Yep.
In the email
Yep.
from Priyanka,
Yeah, of Manitoba Water Services
Yeah.
Board.
so I obtained a quote for well testing in the range of 7,000 to 8,000. And then in the last email, it's the estimated cost for the well water assessment would be 18,000. So why did it go from 7 to 8 to 18?
Because I think she doubled it, because it's 50-50 cost share.
Okay.
So the 7 or 8 only represents our share or Manitoba Water Services Board share.
Or she accidentally gave away the game.
And then 18 is double plus a contingency. plus having the water well assessment is adding on to the actual study. So then additional study time would be required. So it'd be 16,000 would be the estimate, but then the additional work added into the study for MPE, the contracted engineering firm, and Mass Water Services Board is probably the other two.
These funds are borne by the Kelwood Utility
Yes.
Fund, right?
And what is this study proving for us? What's the end game for this study?
It's letting you know that you're about to run out of water soon.
I think
It's more the infrastructure.
Yeah.
It gives you a to-do list to move on from. I'll find which meeting it was where we approved the actual study.
And this will also give new benchmarks for water quality.
I think more with pump flow and everything else and infrastructure than it does. And
Yeah.
water quality. The infrastructure going
It's old.
Slowly.
It's old. It's built more than 1967 or something.
That's the west well up in the hills. Is that the area they're gonna drill?
The raw water source at the plant.
Oh, right at the plant. Not-
Yeah, because the last report on the plant's well was from the 90s.
Wasn't the plant's well up in the hills?
Well, whether there's it depends on what, because the
Estimate
well,
cost for the assessment, including pump tests and counter inspection.
That'll be the one you gotta get across.
no, the wells on the French farm's farm, and the storage tank is in Kelly. Like that water is pumped into the storage tank and then treated out of that storage tank. So I'm not sure.
In March 2023, you moved the resolution that said, whereas the Kelwood Water Utility aging infrastructure is in need of repair and maintenance to continue providing clean drinking water to our residents, so now therefore be it resolved, we, the council, request Manitoba Water Services Board undertake a water assessment study on the Kelwood Utility in 2023.
So it'll be the whole. They're going to test the whole facility for $18,000. I guess that's my question.
No, this is just a change order.
Yeah.
It's a change order for just the well.
So that cost back then was quite a bit more. The assessment wasn't hot back in 2023.
Yeah, loose math, I would say probably we're doing a $50,000 assessment at least.
That's the number I had in my head, yeah.
But again, this has been on the works since March 2023.
I remember that. You bet. This is what we're getting tested is how extensive the test is for $18,000. But it's a pretty small test for $18,000.
Yeah, but I also haven't had somebody privately camera or test a well, so I don't know what the going rate would be.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
And that's where the engineering firm is stuck. They're saying we don't want to move forward with our assessment without knowing this critical piece of infrastructure, which is your raw water well.
The pump was the main thing, and the well.
No, for sure.
And they're paying $9,000 to Water Services Board towards it, so it does lighten the load a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, the last reports they found on this was in the 90s.
Well, that makes sense.
So they don't feel comfortable doing a water plant or water system assessment using data that is over 20 years old, because then you're making assumptions about the critical forms of infrastructure.
Yeah, that's. You was doing loose math. He said before.
I was born in the 90s, but I'm trying to figure myself
But
out.
you're getting old, I hate to tell you.
When we're gray hairs.
Yeah. No, but that's, you gotta do it, I guess, it's just one thing with the cost,
So this is just an assessment on that existing well.
basically,
And pump.
and pump, yeah.
I'm not defending the price.
That's what it says here.
Yeah, no, it is what it is, we can't change any of that, and if we say no, then if this system fails, then we look like fools, so.
Well, if we do this assessment, then the other assessment means nothing.
Yeah, that's right, so, that's it, that's my last question.
Well, west of town, one where farmers load and stuff. Is that one tied into the?
No.
I hope
No, it's not,
Okay.
no, there's two, no, it's on,
Brief note of
separate quarters, totally separate quarters.
Any more questions?
Yes, a real question. Why don't we have big blown up maps in this room that show all this stuff so that there's absolute clarity and no confusion and just have, it can be a rudimentary map even, because I honestly don't have a clue what you guys are talking about ever when you say this happens, right? And it's just, and then that bit of that panic look there that it kind of caught my attention. It seems to me that we should have really, really good maps as to what goes where and what's connected to what.
Well, there's probably only 2 counselors sitting at this table, including the CEO, in that conversation, know where that well is at all.
Right? Which is a little scary, isn't it?
Isn't it out in the middle of a field?
It is.
Yeah, okay.
You know how to get to it?
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? So that, and that's not an insult to any counselor sitting at this table, just the fact is, I have, what do you call it, institutional knowledge, and it is what it is. Anybody's done a bit of work there on a machine or something, but anyway, we should all know. And that was a great idea. That's what I'm saying.
It was really cold.
Really cold, yeah. Yes,
Ooh, it was really chilly and muddy.
yeah. So, but you're right, there should be mapping, so any council coming forward to know
Yeah.
what
No
where
worries.
stuff is.
What?
Yeah.
Right. Any more questions? No? All in favor? Carried.
We should be.
We're on 12.6.
This is 12.4.
12.6.
We did 12.4. That was the mowing.
The mowing.
Let's see them. Okay.
You were speaking to it, by the way. You spoke to it.
You seconded.
Oh, that's right, I was thinking about something else, sorry. I was thinking about different mowings, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Agenda item 12.6.
Thanks,
Municipal
Carl.
obnoxious weed inspector. Do I have a mover? Any sure? Seconder Jeff Henderson. Whereas a municipal have an obligation under the Noxious Weeds Act to appoint a municipal obnoxious weed inspector for 2026. Therefore, be it resolved that the council appoint Mike Davidson, foreman, as a noxious weed inspector for the RM of Rosedale and authorize any training that may be required.
Have you seen any notice yet about training, Jordan?
No, but we did get Cam into training last year with it.
I remember that.
So they usually give notice probably in about a month from now if they're doing another round. I'm just making this resolution kind of cover it both just in case it does become available. Then I can just straight register him in and get him into it.
2-day event or something like that last year.
Yeah, I want to say the cost was $400 or $600.
In Russell.
I have a question about the inspector's duties. So if I have a small field of dandelions and a neighboring farmer,
Dandelions are not a noxious weed.
No.
but in this case though, if the neighboring farmer complains about the fact that I'm not doing anything with dandelions, is that a complaint driven thing that comes to the office? Or is that a whole separate thing altogether that just doesn't matter?
Dandelions
No, yeah, because of the-
No, I think you would be looking at like a sensus calamine or whatever that, that daisy that grows that way. What?
Mm-hmm.
That's an obnoxious weed because it takes off. And
I can't remember how many there are actually indicated by the government, but there isn't very many. I know we had a big problem with one in Bifrost Riverton. It came off the tires of an airplane and spread across the whole interlake. But I can't even think of what that's called right now. But if someone came in with a complaint, we would have to find the actual list of,
weeds.
yeah,
So it's only those weeds that are on that list that are the
as indicated under the Noxious Weed Act, yeah.
period.
And dandelions are not one.
And just for you councilors to know, this is 1 more kilometers added to the truck we drive for our foreman, because he's got to check the sites when we call for, he's got to do the check, so that adds kilometers to our trucks, which is good, but just so you know, that's where the kilometers that trucks come from.
any other questions? No? All in favor? Carried. $12.7, 1-year extension with the OSS. Do I have a mover?
Sure.
Dave Tedder. Seconder. Robert Scott. Whereas Resolution 26/156 requests a 1-year agreement extension with the OSS Waste Disposal Limited for waste management services, therefore be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale approved a 1-year extension provided by OSS to April 1st, 2027.
So resolution kind of says it all. You guys asked for it. I got it. So please authorize it.
All in favor?
Which one summary to read?
Yeah, new book coming out, part of the deal.
Agenda item 12.8, Partners in Safety, grant request. Do I have a mover? Do I have a mover?
Sure.
Robert. Ron Costa. Be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale approves the sponsor of Partners in Safety at the amount of 30 kids for $480.
I know we talked about this last year. I couldn't remember if you guys actually approved it. But they do this every year. So you'll see that the Neepawa Fire Department conducts a safety initiative for kids. So the investment is $16 per child. Last time, RM of Rosedale supported 20 kids. So I guess we did do it last year. Can you help 30 kids for $480? And then I included some of the information, but a lot of it is like deep PDFs, developing a family escape plan and items like that, that just simply was just too much data to throw in there. It's just to really teach kids fire safety right in the school level from ages 7 to 11.
How many kids, well, of course, there's no follow-up on this, how many kids did they have last year? We don't even know.
No, we just sponsored
That number.
that volume. Yeah.
But that's from the Neepawa schools, is it?
Yes.
Like our fire chief, I know Darryl used to go to the Neepawa school. This sort of thing.
What about the Calvin Fire Chief?
Yeah.
We don't have a school. It's sad. But I mean, supporting it in a big scale is good too, but we don't have a school. We have children, but we don't have a school to attend. But it's a great program, honestly, so.
I just don't know how they pick out 20 kids.
Well,
Which 20 kids?
Well, how many kids are in the RM of Rosedale?
4,000 are in Neepawa.
Yeah.
Wait, 4,000. What the hell?
Only about 38 in school.
Yeah. But even in the town of Kilda, I think there's a dozen or 15 children. I don't know what age level you go there, but we'd have to go door to door to do it at our locals. Not get a little, I guess.
Good program, but we did 16 kids surveys. 20 kids last year. Do we up it to 30 or do we go back to 20? Is the question I have.
Or do you give the fire department in Kelwood $1,000 and say, go put fire smoke detectors and do fresh batteries everywhere you can go for $1,000?
Fire detectors are like $75 now at Walmart, eh?
I'm astonished at how expensive they are right now.
You know what I mean?
Smoke detectors are stupid pricey right now.
Is that right?
Yeah. You just buy 2 packs for $9.99 and now you're buying for $75. Interconnected smokes are through the roof.
Yeah, that's not without CO2 or any of the other
It's
expenses.
unbelievable.
So that's an interesting option, but the resolution's tabled right now asking for the support of 30 kids in the amount of $480. That money is available in the budget under grants, but it's up to you guys.
Like I said, it'd be nice to know how many kids we got last year. 20, but I mean, it is a good.
Well, and yes, from the Rosedale standpoint and a fire chief standpoint, are we sponsoring people, our children? So going back to Jeff's point, so maybe we should deny this, but I mean, that's just, I don't want to not help the children. It's not, some makes you sound like a bad person, but it's, it says here, help kids now with equal. Right on the top of this do thing.
So if they included Eden, that
That
would be a different.
Well, this is a school meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, we go door to door, I'm okay with that, just whatever, but it's a tough one, because of what it says there, equals.
There's probably quite a few that come out of Rosedale.
No, sure. In the school.
And
And
this,
most fire chiefs go to the Eden School, work with the kids in Eden School.
And I was wrong, I said 7 to 11, but they also have a youth program, so it's actually all kids from 5 to 11.
5 to 11, Eden wouldn't have 15 kids. No, seriously, I'm not trying to.
In grades 5 to 11, you mean, or ages?
No, ages 5 to 11.
Grades 5 for them? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they might be 20 total. Because you only have to go up to about age 13 there, then they're in high school, right? So
Oh, right.
Got 2 fire chiefs to get fire truck
Think
over
we'll
there.
get along well enough for that?
Take them through the whole thing, safety. This way,
Well,
going to the Eden
yeah,
School.
we just do that, get that spark heat, get on,
Go to the Eden School.
go to the school, yeah, the firefighter.
I think,
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think the council
I
in
think
that
that'd be
ward
well
is
spent
fitting
money
that
for-
Sparky suit.
That's what I heard.
All right, so what's the plan? Decline? Carry?
I don't like the word.
Oh, okay, you call for the vote.
I like 20 kids up through 20, and then make sure this letter's circulated out to the Eden School for the kids know.
Kids can go. Something, gotta do something like that.
That
Okay,
makes,
so they're aware of it, I guess, put it that way.
that makes sense to me.
So, we'll do 20 again and then, get a letter to the school for all the kids at the school. They can take to their parents or whatever and say, hey, I wanna go to this.
Okay, so then resolution reads, be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale approves the support of partners in safety amount of 20 kids at $320. All in favor? Carried. All right. Agenda 12.9, request for playground upgrade, Riding Mountain. Do I have a mover? Earl Burton. Seconder. Dave Tudor. Whereas the Riding Mountain Playground Committee has formed for propose of a fundraiser to upgrade the RM of Rosedale's playground located on roll 2320 in the community of Riding Mountain. Therefore be it resolved that after reviewing the request, their fundraiser goal, and the proposed construction, the Council of the RM of Rosedale approved the Riding Mountain Playground Community's request to replace the RM's playground. Therefore be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale authorizes the RM to be sponsoring the agenda and to partner with the Riding Mountain Playground Committee with the request for the annual financial and periodic fundraising update.
So in it, you'll see the letter, you'll see what it currently looks like, what they want to put up, and what it costs.
So kudos to them for doing this, but I just want to make sure, like, that picture of the Blue Mint product, that one photo, that's a $65,000 install. That
Yes. Well, 56,000 with a contingency of 15% because that's today's May 2026 prices, right? What in the world isn't going up?
yeah, I guess obviously I'm not into the playground equipment.
Oh, this is super cheap.
Yeah.
Usually they're 6 figures.
Okay.
Blue Imp does displays at like AMM conventions and stuff too. They are part of the trading company and everything. So that's why they're kind of asking us to be a partner, because then we buy it, we get it through our purchasing group at a lower rate, and then we also pay the GST but get it back. And then yeah, this is what they found that would be kind of a suitable replacement. Because any playground that we have, we hold the liability for it.
Right.
It's on our property, it's our playground. And like I said, the local group has decided to form a committee to try to fundraise and hit that goal. So before they raise $1, they want your permission.
So and they're not asking for funding just yet,
No.
they're just asking for us a partner.
Yeah,
But we could fund them later on at some point. If they ask.
by a council decision or resolution, yes. But right now, no, they want to fundraise it all. they just want our purchasing group, because we're partners through MTCML Canoe, for discounted rates, and then we buy it because it's our property, so it's our ownership, and then the GST would then be exempted. And again, these numbers could change, but like they said, as a sponsoring agent, it opens up the door to eligibility of things like the RCMP Criminal Forfeiture Fund and other funding programs. You guys, I think only a meeting or two ago, you agreed to be sponsoring agents for a couple. I know Will Smith's book was one for the foundation grant, and then there's another one too. So that's kind of the direction we're going. But yeah, no, there's no financial commitment at this time from the RM of Rosedale.
In which also, like when we had that meeting with Sergeant Cohen, you know, they want to do that. The RCMP want to help out to communities and support their.
Well, and there may be some other funding through the province that can be accessed as long as the RM's
Partnered up.
partnered up, so
Yeah.
perfect, right? And they're doing all the work for it? Let them go for it, yeah.
No, it's great to have, just give them the,
It's nice to see the community engagement.
yeah, exactly.
All right, all in favor? Carried. $12.10, RM of Rosedale Financial Account Access. Do I have a mover? Robert Scott. Ernie Sure, second. Whereas Stride Credit Union requests a resolution clarifying the list of signers on all of the RM of Rosedale financial accounts, therefore be it resolved, the Council of the RM of Rosedale designate the following as signers of the RM of Rosedale financial accounts held at Stride Credit Union. 2 signatures required, member of council Carl Slizik Reeve and Robert Scott Deputy Reeve. Number 2, member of administration Jordan Wilner, CAO, Catherine Burrows, ACAO, Mass and Dateful,
Interim administrator.
Intern Administrator Clerk, and Vanessa Valles,
And she's our maternity leave.
Maternity Leave Administration Clerk.
Any question her on there, Jordan? Because we don't know the outcome going forward,
Yeah. So I guess it's your guys' choice. When she returns from mat leave, we always can just do another resolution as well.
okay, fair enough, just a question.
It's just things like we need them on account because things like we keep our operating backed up on hard drives that are kept in our safety deposit box at the bank. Things like that they just want to make sure we have supposed to be on account, and but this doesn't. Yeah. This is like login access, all those things that we do regularly, account transfers between accounts and all those kind of items. Because there were still some other people from the past on it before, so it's cleaning it up. But again, if you don't want Vanessa on there right now, you don't have to. We can just strike out that part and then also just pass a resolution if and when she returns.
I want to ask a question without like making it sound like it's an accusation, but somebody that is not in the office that isn't currently working still has login credentials for the account?
Well, no, they're like the RMs, and everything requires two-way authentication. That's why I was saying when we do your financial accounts, we really got to stop giving you guys the bank statements every month in the packages, because then the rest of the package can just be put out as public information. I just don't feel comfortable showing the online world every one of our the account numbers, everything, just because of the risk of that information being misused. But yeah, no, if you guys aren't comfortable with the maternity leave, we'll just strike that out. Robert Scott, you moved that resolution. You're okay with that amendment?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Item 1211, 2021 2026 financial plan is reserve transfers. Do I have a mover? Jeff Henders. Seconder. Earl Burton. Whereas the RM of Rosedale 2026 financial plan and tax levy bylaw was passed on May the 8th, 2026,
Specifically indicated.
specifically indicated with the cap plan reserve transfer. And whereas the RM of Rosedale General Reserve has a current account balance in excess of $685,000, and whereas also in 2026 financial plan was the sourcing of $35,000 for the 2026 bridge improvement program in partnership with the province of Manitoba GROW program. Therefore, be it resolved that the following reserves transferred are authorized: from General Reserve, $282,846.53 to Eaton Rink, $28,053.82. Rocky Mountain Hall, $10,157. Kelwood Community Hall, $7,782.14. Equipment, $236,860.50. And from bridge reserves, $35,000 to general operating fund of $35,000.
Any questions?
How low can you take your general reserve fund down to? Or how?
Zero.
Zero.
So these halls are getting funding that's just,
You guys borrowed from it before.
okay.
This is in the capital financials every month showing the due to from that we were talking about, where there's a lot of money from these different reserves that needed to be paid back, and we're sitting in the operating fund.
Peter to people.
Yeah, and then in our financial plan this year, we are raising funds to pay back the funds owing to the Canadian Community Building Fund, or what was formerly known as gas tax. But then the rest of it was all just being sourced from the general reserve to pay back these other.
So this is a positive.
This is just cleaning up your capital balance sheet. You'll see a lot less due to from balances in it. And then the bridge reserve, we've already done that, right? That was with Peer Solutions. I can give you guys, they gave me like 40 pictures of all their bridge repairs that we authorized. Again, it was just too much data to try to upload into the system, but it ended up being like 70,000, which was the GROW grant, 35 us, 35 from province, and then we source our 35 from the bridge reserve. Perfect, that's a work bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Infrastructure taken care of.
So, all in favor, or any more questions? All in favor? Carried.
It's 12 o'clock. Are you guys recessing for lunch today?
Very good.
Yes, please.
This
Oh, I hope so.
Yes, please, Dad.
Hey, it's already for lunch.
Sorry.
Item 12.12, in camera enter. Van Mover, Jeff Henderson. And sure, be it resolved that the accordance with the Municipal Act Section 152, bracket 3, bracket B, bracket II, bracket III, and bracket IV, the Council of the RM of Rosedale do hereby close this meeting to the public and move into in camera at 1:05 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Agenda item 12.12, in camera exit. I have a mover. Robert Scott. Seconder Dave Tedder. Be it resolved, the Council of the RM of Rosedale conclude their in-camera session and reopen the meeting to the public at 2:36. All in favor? Carried. Okay, item 1213, RFP for 2027 aggregate supply. Do I have a mover? Earl Burton. Seconder. Dave Turner. Be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale authorizes the prepared request for a proposal for the 2027 aggregate supply for the RM with the crushing volumes of pit located at southwest 1616 west, 15,000 yards, pit located at northeast 1716 west, 35,000 yards, pit located at north 31615 west, 10,000 yards, with the deadline to completion set at October 31st, 2026.
So question, this is probably not enough gravel for 2 years and 2 months for 1 year, or should we just crush enough for 1 year, or we want to do? Just a question, that's all it is. And then
It's just 1 year's worth with supplemental inventory, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 1 year worth really should be, we should get, say, 35,000 yards.
Yeah.
And plus 4,000 because we gotta pay back that other, what we gained, so that's max 40,000 yards would be my math. Me thinking out loud here. Pit number 1 there, 12,000 yards, which would be, that'll be the 12,000 for that one. That's just my numbers. The numbers are here, they're for 60,000 yards.
That's for which, that's for.
That's the Fisher. Yeah. So I went to 12,000 for that, 18 for Cossacks and 10 for Eden. I'm just throwing numbers out, guys. That's it.
Or just lower them.
Just lower them, yeah. And then you got 35,000 yards to spread, plus you got 4,000 yards that we have to pay back.
So that means it needs to be 1,000.
That's only for 1,000 carryover. We can tweak it up a little bit, don't get me wrong.
Because you guys do have requests, right? Like, Bernie, you have that.
I would want more, like, because if we have one issue,
That's fine. I'm just throwing numbers.
I like having a little extra.
I don't hate the numbers.
I don't hit though.
Well, it doesn't matter. I know Fisher's ours,
Yeah.
you know, so
But we don't, when we pay for the Kozak gravel, it's not a lot of dollars.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I know that's hard, but I'd like to have a.
Ron's saying it's better gravel.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but
So we can tweak up both of them, really.
I think I would just have sitting there, because if we have one issue, I get that one rainstorm, man,
One bad coat, one bad coat.
Okay, so then if we take 12,000 and Fisher moved it 14,000 and 20,000 at Kozaks. Throw numbers.
I just want to make inventory of that one because that's the one that sources
That's the Kozak one?
Yeah, it's like 4 different, 4 words.
plus half of this word.
Roberts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go up, I would stay up over, let's say 30, at Cossacks at least.
So we're gonna do more Kozaks and keep
30
the other
and,
ones.
30 and 14 and then 10.
So we didn't decrease anything.
Well, you went down 5,000 at Kozak.
Yeah. I went down 6,000 yards out of 60.
Doesn't take long to burn up that little bit of gravel if we have one issue. It goes fast. I know we did that 1 year, we had the one with water flood, and that was it.
Well, we're upside down too, because even if we had someone request gravel for the driveways and stuff, that's a lot of gravel, a lot of laneways, but I mean, we don't have anything to offer. I mean, which is the loans we're giving now, because we don't have the gravel to sell.
My opinion on all that for probably driveways and that, let them go to the private sector.
That's what I would tell every parent.
I agree.
And we don't do
We
that.
shouldn't sell any gravel.
No, I agree 100%, exactly.
That's what we've got contractors.
Yeah.
Because this year we estimated about 36,000 yards was our gravel program total,
36,000.
approximately.
No, that's right.
So now when you've taken 2,500 out of Kozak's to do finish Ward 4, you still have to do Ward 5 and 6, or where are we at with gravel? I know 5 and 6 doesn't seem any gravel left.
Well, they did my desk spots.
Okay.
And that's
They're
all.
rallying your word that, you know,
They were, I think, yes, I seen a couple trucks.
yesterday, the day before.
Okay. But I never seen 4 trucks yet, but they could be true.
And you haven't seen that Baker Ward 5?
On dust control spots only. And that wasn't very many of them either. And then they did part of one road and took off. There's 1 mile done, the other mile still there. Yeah. So, don't know what that's about.
But if you seen that.
And that's fine.
They were home for 2
Yeah.
days for sure.
Okay.
So are you, Ward 1 is gravel? Completed?
Or is I think,
Okay.
that's,
Or is that-
whether they in general is part of it.
Gravel in Ward 3 is been applied?
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for 95.
Okay.
That's areas.
And Robert?
I think so.
Okay, so it's just 5 and 6 left then.
Well, if you've seen
Yours
this,
done?
I think so.
okay, because if you seen them start from.
They were all in there anyway.
Oh, really?
I think your ward got done first.
Yeah.
I just think Robert's.
Yeah, I've seen them, so.
Okay.
I think we're pretty much on.
Because I was gonna phone you.
I don't know if they did 90 though.
I did 90, or we did 90 up to Arnison's Corner. That's what was on the map.
From there north we didn't do.
Yeah, like, yeah, that 2 miles.
There south we didn't do.
There in south.
So these numbers, what do you think then?
Well, I think that gravel next year is gonna be more expensive, no, potentially more expensive, but there's so much uncertainty, like with the cost of fuel and whatnot. Guys are gonna bid high this year, but it might be worse next year.
Could be better.
It could be better. It's such a crapshoot, right?
It is.
But it's for sure high this year.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be an expensive year to crush, I think.
Yeah. So
Which
that's
we'll
what I'm
know in a month from now when we get our proposals back and we
That's
compare
why I'm
and
trying
gauge your.
to call the numbers if you want to call it.
But this is just a request for proposal,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we always can lower the numbers once you see it and compare it. I'll get like maybe the last 2 times you guys crushed. I don't know what the Eden pit, I can't find that information of when that was crushed last and what those numbers were, but the other 2 for sure I can give you.
And I live in fear of, you're talking about this being the super El Nino year. I live in fear that we're gonna get that 10-inch rain event like some other places have gotten, and we're gonna need 20,000 yards of gravel.
And then we start the DFA all over again.
Yeah, but having
But
that,
you need the material.
Hey,
yeah, but having that material on hand
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
resilience and
Because
adaptability.
that's where some of our
So
reserves
you get
went.
on the contract, use
Yeah.
contractor have.
Watch them do that.
And it was deal.
Found that out,
Yeah.
DFA then, the price went up 4 times.
But the DFA was funded, eh?
No, I'm just saying, like, when we needed it at the
Yeah.
time to fill in,
Yeah.
It was
brought it in at 4 times the price, and I just don't turn truck around, we got Baker bring in another truck. It was that right, Rick?
Well, let's leave this at,
So I don't know.
leave it as these numbers, and if we have to go down, we're gonna see what the tenders are, and then whenever that, we have to bring it down, we'll bring it down. How's that sound? Fair. All in favor?
Well, the contractor should know what he's crushing now.
It needs to know a number. that's-
Well, like,
Oh, but I mean, if we leave it there, like 15, 35, and 10.
Yeah, but if, you say we're gonna put it down, we can't.
Oh, right,
We're gonna
yeah.
send out the tender in and tell, them, no, you can't do 15,000, you can do 10.
Yeah,
Right,
That's not fair to, that's not fair.
fair to them.
Because they- how do you think of that job? Right?
Yeah.
You have to re-tender it.
They read that.
What's not tender, it's a request for proposal.
Sorry. You have to re-request a proposal. It's a complicated
And
scheme.
then we'll be paying a third now and the rest in 2027, is that the goal?
That's the goal, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I think it is.
Bid amount in dollars per cubic yard per pit.
So when do we switch to cubic meters?
Because for some reason you guys operate in Imperial.
That's only because we haven't switched.
No, I got it wrong.
You're gonna divide every one of those numbers by 3 and retrain these guys on how to.
Just a question. So
We
we
all know
get
those are
a
kind of
contract
opportunities, so
to
the
crush,
states.
how do we know we get 35,000 yards in a pipe?
And then it's gonna change a little bit.
They go by the belt scale, the boys have belt scale, like I haven't seen that thing, it's like, almost a big thing. It's an open air, it's got the,
So everybody has a scale on there, so,
should have, that's what Daryl had before.
okay,
Those
now
guys.
let's trying to figure out if
Yeah.
they're trying to take spoonfuls out of the
Yeah,
pit,
no,
how they gonna
no.
measure how many yards
Yeah,
that we're actually getting what we're.
yeah.
Think done by weight, Ron, or by, like,
Actually,
It'll be all that way.
well, he's got a drone too,
I was
yeah.
got a drone, he would probably just run over and say, here, see, Some of the terminology in this, what my belt tells you.
Right.
If they're both pretty close, I would say he's pretty darn close.
And there's a new guy, I mentioned a guy out of Dauphin, he wrote that thing, he's got a drone, it's it's crazy amount of money, but it's huge. It's a wider mistake. Like we seen it mentioned.
Yeah.
Donated for years.
Hey, again, what do you want to do?
I like the numbers the way they are.
I mean, myself, I like the way they are, me myself.
I'm happy with these numbers.
Councilor Scott?
I'm happy with where they are.
All in favor? Carried.
This is not like loaf of bread, it's a spoil.
No, that's right.
Exactly.
Well, that's true, yeah.
I think you're taken.
Per cubic yard is cheaper than bread though.
And 12.14 aggregate amounts. Do I have a mover? Are you sure? Seconder? Jeff Henderson. Whereas the aggregate
Inventories?
inventories of the RM of Rosedale are insufficient to meet the needs of the 2026 grappling program, be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale authorizes the following aggregate amounts to be paid back when the RM crushes again 1,400 yards from the Eden Pit to P. Baker Hollow backhoe, and 2,500 yards from the Kozat Pit to E&K Construction, or Construct Limited. All in favor? Carried.
When they do Ward 5 and 6, are we gonna be short of gravel and two for those? We'll have to advance more gravel.
I'll deal with that when it comes. I didn't know your ward wasn't gravel yet.
So that's 4,000 yards. And then whatever Earl's got, so it's another.
50 something, 50,
Yeah.
everyone, 50.
Yeah.
I said 5,000.
5,000.
Same thing twice. Yes, there was.
What's up?
This one's second.
Oh, we canceled one check.
That's what it's fixed.
There was one of the two canceled checks in the list of accounts for approval.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would have been one of them. They probably destroyed the check, that's why we didn't get it back in the right void and attach it to the invoice. But, like, cause sometimes canceled checks, we get back in the right void across it and we attach it back to the invoice. That one would have been sent out and they probably just destroyed it for us.
So this is a new pump on the tank on the truck?
Yeah, slip tank.
Well, what happened to the other one?
Got to the point of they didn't think it was, they needed it. I guess you could ask it on the 23rd.
Sometimes to fix them, I know we fix them in a
It's a something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It lasted for a bit and then it's the same thing again.
That's a film rig.
Okay, agenda item 12.15, employee hiring resolution. Do I have a mover? Jeff Henderson. Seconder, Ron Kosinchuk. Be it resolved that Council of the RM of Rosedale approve the following employee hire: heavy equipment operator Joe Roulette. Starting date May 25th, 2026. Seasonal summer students. Rounds began. And Sam
Rio Vero.
Rio Vero. Start date June 1st, 2026. All in favor? Carried.
You have to get Gigi to teach you all those.
I know, she's trying to get me to learn as a gallo. And it's working well. 12.16 RFP for roadside mowing. Do I have a mover? Dave Tutterup. Seconder. Earl Burton. Whereas the RM of Rosedale roadside mower has been damaged beyond repair in 2025, and approved was granted from OE 987 to contract out mowing position for the 2026 year, along with the agreement to consult in 2027 if there are further extensions is required and agreeable. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale authorizes and prepares requests and proposal for the 2026 roadside mowing program for approximately 300 miles.
And we talked about that, we're gonna kind of go off of the last year's snow removal map.
All in favor? Carried. $12.17, offer to purchase roll 5100 Franklin, Manitoba. Do I have a mover? Jeff Henderson. Seconder? Sure.
Assistant.
Whereas conditional use 001-2025-R was approved for the construction of a storage facility on roll 5200, and as whereas roll 5200 is landlocked by the RM parcel roll 5100, that the council received an offer to purchase by the owner. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale approve the $1,250.00 offer from James Weir for 7140721 Manitoba Limited with a 2-year development agreement registered on the title.
You guys usually, or historically, your policy had a 1 year. I just don't think 1 year is fair, so I wrote it in as a 2 year, but feel free to change your resolution if you want, but I think 2 years would give them more than enough time.
Lots of times we took the 1 year and then we got approval for a second year.
Second year, I know,
That's why I don't.
And we've offered extensions.
Yeah, and I think after 2 years it has to be.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried. Uh, 12.18, offer to purchase roll number 2100, 2200, 2800, 2900, Franklin, Manitoba. Do I have a mover? Dave Tederack, seconder Robert Scott. Whereas council received an offer to purchase roll number 2100, 2200, 2800, 2900 in Franklin, Manitoba from Trevor Curl, owner of the roll 2700, with the intention to amalgamate the lots of construction of a trailer park, and whereas roll 2700 is large enough that it meets the planning district and RM requirements for a trailer court, and as whereas resolution 26/116 authorizes the placement of a mobile home on roll 2700, but development has not yet commenced. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the RM of Rosedale deny the request to purchase the indicated 4 rolls, refund the deposit of $500, and instruct the CAO to inform the developer to reply once roll 2700 has been developed and full.
Any questions on that resolution? Kind of spells it all out.
All in favor? Carried.
Oh, we have 2 added items.
All right.
So 1219 is Ridge Road.
I'd like to see council put forward a stop work order on any construction done at the regional welding shop. As per agreement we made, I was gonna say signed, we didn't actually sign the agreement. There's not any work going on in the last little while, but that's how the presentation was done here 2 months ago now, and we didn't do anything during that meeting, so I'd like to do it this one.
Okay.
The original was where they could use whatever they were, sales, whatever they allowed to do with no construction. Manufacturing, yeah.
So basically, it's a warning letter saying no more
Zero.
zero manufacturing going forward.
Going forward, as of today's date, I guess I'll have to do, because,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I wish of council.
Okay.
Is that something that gets forwarded to Jeff Braun, or is that something?
Yeah, he's a designated officer for the RM, so he can enforce our resolutions when it comes to planning matters.
I don't know, reading through the information, there's no, my opinion only, I don't see any fault in what they did, what some did. Well, it's just, somebody moved the goalpost again, what they've done.
Do you move for the secondary?
Okay, yeah. So do I have a mover on 12-9? Earl Burton. Seconder. Okay, be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale place a stop work order on all manufacturing at Ridge Road development. All in favor? Carried. Now the other one.
Organizational bylaw appointments.
Yeah, actually what it was about is, we're hearing lots of information, but there's no institutional knowledge. Public Works is struggling, the administration office struggling. Would it be something we should consider, have 2 council members have form committees, subcommittees where, like, say Brown has like a transportation services committee, and we have a transportation service committee, a finance committee, a personnel committee, and equipment procurement maintenance committee, where all of the information comes to 2 council members then take the, digest it, I guess, and forward it on to Jordan, so hopefully frees up some of his time. Or are we gonna help things or make it more complicated, is the question I have. Or is it something we want to entertain?
This is something I'm going to be pushing on the new council in November.
So you're like,
I haven't told you guys this, but
you're liking that idea?
yeah, you guys only meet once a month, and I don't like the AP being a distraction. Like a finance committee can meet for one day
So
before a council meeting.
these subcommittees
leading
could,
up to.
we appoint 2 members and they can meet a week or 2 weeks before the regular meeting. So then we can hash it all out and then present accordingly.
But when we were talking about this, when it came to the bylaw last October, November, I think we did our readings. You guys just weren't interested in it at that time, creating all the subcommittees. So it's completely up to you guys. It's your bylaw. It's your direction. If you want to leave it for the next council, November council meeting, I'm going to be coming at them with that bylaw for the organizational review and making that recommendation again. So it's
It would be nice to have something in place, because it'll take us a little while to get that organized for this council, so maybe we can begin the new one and help you with the new council from here. Maybe with the suggestions and with the committee stuff.
Start the path forward.
That's what I mean, yeah. We're only 6 months away. Not that part anymore.
And I have no problem being on a couple of committees type of thing. But this is opinion. So I don't know how it was ever done before, previous on council.
No, that's. That's not, and it takes time to set things in motion, so by the time you hit November, election's over, we might have something in place that would work.
or the new council comes in and they just review the organizational bylaw and remove them all.
Yeah, yeah, I guess that's true too.
Councils can do whatever they want. But it's your guys' choice. In the bylaw, I did put a clause in that if you ever want to add committees, you could just do it by resolution rather than having to reopen the whole bylaw and it take 2 months. But again, it's completely your guys' choice. Or consider it unfinished business.
Considering there's gonna be probably some overturn, I'm assuming anyway, like getting ahead of it and getting some institutional knowledge in place now would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
So does it make it easier, like Robert, doing those, signing those bills for you, to do it twice a month sort of thing instead of once a month? Or, Does it make things move easier or?
Well, every meeting takes time out of it, right? You think I make this council package in an hour?
Yeah.
Afraid not.
How long did it take?
Well, no, I just told us that.
It's only 32 resolutions so far, like.
Just to try and make some of the stuff easier, like just move up,
More flow?
do whatever,
Yeah.
a little easier flow. I'm about to change, whatever, like,
Yeah.
whatever changes need to happen, we just need it to flow nicer.
Look at equipment procurement, like we ought to put out there $30,000 for another vehicle, and we obviously know the public works guys don't have much time to do it. And that's a hard find used vehicles.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 council members, where it would
Yeah.
be, not Jeff, because it's gotta be electric, so no offense, Jeff.
What's wrong with electric, Jeff?
We don't have a good plug-in out there, that's all. Other than that.
Just gonna say.
Yeah. So you pick 2 council members and they do the legwork and they say, okay, is this gonna meet the requirements, and everybody agrees to it, and you move on.
Well, and there's 6 of us, so 3 teams that do at different levels, it's pretty easy.
Yeah,
We're
there's some, so 1 or 2 councilors gotta do
Well, Carl-
2 tasks, whatever.
But Carl,
But, I don't know,
I like
you
the
guys can
idea.
think about it.
I like the idea, so it's make it smoother as where it is.
Yeah, just get things that make things go a little smoother.
And maybe we can get rid of some of these ongoing issues that we've been having, if you wanna call it that.
Yeah.
And we're not wasting council time, we're, subcommittee, you can do it on back and forth, a phone call or something like that, right, so. And then meet, previous to the council meeting, a week ahead or whatever it is, pick a time, come in for an hour or 2 and go over with Jordan or whoever needs to be, and away we go.
So the CEO has to be at those meetings, yes?
No, sometimes I'll probably send Catherine if I have other priorities.
But somebody from the administration office should be present, that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, so it's like right now, even I've been telling you guys, invite me to your committee meetings. So Han Group had their AGM. So I sent Catherine to that this week because Councilor Scott wasn't even available for it. And like I said, administration, we gotta get involved. We need to know these people. We have requests. Eden Fire Chief wants to do a controlled burn and practice on, I think it's one of the watershed district lots. But we don't even know who the manager is of that watershed district to contact him and get approval to do this work on his lot. It's like, we need these connections beyond even council. Like it's a, so a finance committee, a capital projects committee.
Personnel committee, you guys, when you say capital projects, is that the equipment procurement maintenance or the?
Yeah, any capital project.
Okay. Well, I had 4. I'm open to other suggestions. Transportation services, I guess, is one of them, finance, personnel, and the capital one is what I have.
I think transportation services should be council as a whole though.
Okay.
That's the one we're trying to plan for later this June.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we can talk about it more at that meeting there.
Give this idea time to sink in.
Yeah. Just, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe Jordan come up with some suggestions from other places or whatever.
Yeah, this is the first municipality I worked at in my career that doesn't have committees.
That's what I mean, like,
So why don't you just suggest it would be good?
I did in November and they were all shut down.
That's fine, suggest it again.
throw a bunch of stuff out
I
again.
can't retain that right now. It's 3
Come on.
p.m. It's
Come on.
For the next meeting, for that one we're gonna have on the 23rd, bring it for there.
That's 2 weeks.
Throw some stuff at us so we know what we're kinda looking at.
No, that meeting is for a specific purpose, which is transportation.
Yeah. But that one takes.
We'll have a second one. We'll have
We're
one
here already, so let's.
Well, I can make it a
Right.
whole meeting after the transportation
Right.
services
Well, then I would
committee.
just suggest that you go with what Dave suggested.
That's just.
So
Well,
basically,
okay, like-
you got 3 subcommittees plus the transportation one, which is.
I think we already have kind of personnel one because that's the one we use for the CBA,
Okay,
where we appointed 2 members of council as,
yeah, that was just,
I can't remember that.
that was just a one-time thing, though, was it not, Jordan, or?
I thought we put it in the organizational bylaw.
Gee, I
I
don't know.
thought you did too.
Yeah, got me on that one. That I can't tell you.
No, I think that, it was,
Yeah, it was Jeff and I
I
wrote
think
that.
so, yeah.
Jeff was on fire that day.
I don't know. It took him this long to calm down, that's the thing.
Drove right through his hair.
Yeah.
No, that
Appointed, right?
appointed for to see what we did at that point in time.
So again, finance, capital projects, personnel,
Kieran was what Dave used, which.
Well, that's capital
Oh,
projects.
so that's three, so you made his four into three, so that makes it.
Yeah, so there's three.
and the finance committee will touch on some of the procurement as well.
Right.
For operations.
Some of that will overlap regardless, right? You can't.
Yeah. And committees have no authority. They can only make recommendations to council for the next meeting. You guys pass a resolution. Council only acts by resolution.
So that's
Background research on Robert.
Yeah.
And that's for Reed fellow.
Okay. Do I have a mover on this?
You can't have one.
Or seconder? Robert Scott. Be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale add the following committees to the organization bylaw. Financial, council 1.
I think we have that. Did they stay on like that? So we have.
Robert.
There's one's here in town.
Robert Scott,
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Wrong.
council 2, Ron Rosenchuk. Capital project, Dave Tederick,
I would do.
Carl Burton, Carl Burton. Personnel, Jeff Henderson.
It's personnel supposed to be what's.
Staff.
Just
Tell
staff.
people what to do.
No, you can't. Council cannot.
I'm trying, Jeff. This is recorded.
See how it goes. See if I can keep myself up.
Transportation
Hopefully there shouldn't
Service
be too much
Committee as a
stable
whole.
high, well, not. Yeah.
All in favor? Carried.
Will you leave the room for that, or we got some stuff I want to change?
Personnel is that one.
Anything else for open discussion?
No.
Go ahead.
I'd like to see us send a letter to the Department of Highways about fixing that bloody bridge on the main drag.
Oh, it's
It's full of holes. You can hardly get it, like, it's
Oh,
like
really?
driving over a railway crossing.
I've been in there
And
for
no
hours
planks.
for a while.
Yeah,
It's bad.
Kids on bikes, you know, they'd throw a kid off the bike if he was,
Didn't we do that last year? 2 years ago we did that.
Jody Byron come in with
but
that.
they,
The Bernie one, you did more.
That was the Bernie
Bernie one,
They
yeah.
did do some work on the Bernie one, it's not perfect, but it's better than it
No,
was.
it's needs a lot more work.
Yeah.
They have the worst thing there, and they need to shape the backside, the outsides down, leave the bridge where it is, because if you put more material on the bridge, you take the low, or the road, the rating of the bridge down.
Oh.
The more gravel, more asphalt you put on it, if it's 80,000 pounds,
Oh, drops the
it drops the weight, because you put on 5,000 pounds worth of
weight.
asphalt. They need to do something like that, because come winter time, it's about a 2-foot drop, and springtime,
Yeah,
it's a 2 foot.
2 Discuss resolution.
Yeah, that thing moves all over the place.
Are you gonna move her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Dave Tederick, Jeff Henderson.
Yeah.
Be it resolved that the RM of Rosedale instructs the CAO to write a letter to the MTI regarding the bridge in Eden. Do I have a move, or all in favor? Carried.
thank you.
We should add all those paved roads and Rosedale to that list, because Kelwood
Oh,
Street
break
is
an ankle walking over the bridge.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not
bad.
Oh, it's rough.
You sent them like.
The last time I was there was rough, and I haven't been there for a while
Two
now.
or three. Just reminding everybody, Fish Fry in Franklin is this Saturday
Yeah.
from
Did you
5
get
to
tickets?
7. I no. Yes.
You said you were gonna
Yeah, I'll bring it. And my first Canada Day parade and hot dog roast at Newton at the Franklin Community Hall.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so that's it. Item 14, adjournment. Do I have a mover? And Cheryl. Seconder. Jeff Henderson. Be it resolved that the council of the RM of Rosedale adjourns the June 12th, 2026 meeting at
10 after 3.
312.
Well,
It's straightforward, we did.
all in favor? Carried, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.